Welcome to Mixed Mattaphors, and today is the 23rd of December, 2023. What a day, what a day. 3 days after the 20th, and Jesus Christ, I hate my fucking life. I really hate all these fucking people. Every fucking person in this fucking world I really despise. I mean, maybe not every person, but I really just... This whole fucking world is just a fucking... This whole world is a fucking... It really is a fucking trap. I mean... This whole fucking shit is just evil. Like... The whole fucking point of it is to get the fuck out of it. It's just... The whole thing is a waste of fucking time. It's just all so evil. It's horrible. I hate this fucking garbage. And if I had never been conceived... Not if I had been conceived and then I was murdered in the womb. That'd be horrible. But if I had never been conceived, then at least it would be okay. But I can't fucking stand my life. I hate this. I can't stand it. It is just a horrible fucking world, isn't it? There's a great line in a song from Elliott Smith's great album, From a Basement on a Hill, on that album. Where he says, I don't know where I'm going. I don't even want to know, or something like that. That might be the best. That might be like the summing up Elliott Smith line in his whole career. Like, I don't know where I'm going. I don't even want to know where. It's like, it's going to be horrible. Wherever it is, it's going to be disgusting. It's going to be horrendous. It's going to be evil. It's going to be everything Elliott Smith talks about. And, you know. It's like, what is the fucking point? Clearly the point is to get out of here, because this is evil. And it's like, the thing is, it's not even evil and then, like, there are some good people, or it's like a test, but it's hard, but there, you know, you have good guidance and stuff. You have shit guidance. It's like every fucking thing is just horrible. It's like planned obsolescence, but it's just planned suffering or planned damnation. I mean, it doesn't get much worse. And then you say, oh, Matt, it could always get worse. Don't you know it could always get worse? You sent some emails to somebody, and then, you know, he rode you for all you were worth. Don't you know that it's horrible, and yet it can get worse? You know how horrible it is, you know, like the Elliott Smith song on another album, Know How Things Are Hard or something, on New Moon, his other posthumous album, actually. Semi-posthumous for this one, I guess, From a Basement on a Hill, but... You know how things are hard, but I love you though, so, no, you know how things are hard, I know how things are hard, and I know how they can get worse. You can just get worse and worse, and yes, relatively it can get worse and worse, but even when it gets better, it's still horrendous. It's still horrible, and it's still, most of the people are just, most shit is bad. Most stuff is just really bad. And it just gets worse. And it's like you're in a torture chamber. The object is to get out. The object of a torture chamber is to get out. You're not enjoying your life in a torture chamber. You're not hoping, your ultimate goal isn't to have torture that's not as bad. Your ultimate goal is to not be fucking tortured. I hate every fucking person in this fucking world. Every fucking piece of fucking garbage. I mean, maybe not every person, but I fucking despise all these fucking people. Just so fucking bad. These fucking animals with their these fucking assholes. Every fucking thing they do is just horrible. Like, you got somebody on the fucking road and they put on their fucking blinker and then, they change lanes. This isn't everybody, but this is often enough. They change lanes and they keep the fucking thing on for the next half a minute. Oh, Matt, it sounded like you almost had a Freudian slip for half a second, and it might as well be half a second. It's a very short time. And it's like, it's just everyone around you has to remind you how shitty they are at all times, at all fucking times. All the time, people are reminding you how shitty they are. And it's just like, can they ever remind you how good they are? Can they ever do that? I mean, I guess sometimes, but this channel, the slogan says metal. It doesn't just say music. Although, in one video I did trade, I think in the top 10 video games episode, I did say music instead of video games. Interestingly, and wait, video games? No, top 10 metal. I said music instead of video games. But, yeah, this isn't just about any music, but I will say Elliott Smith is kind of more metal. He's a singer-songwriter, and he's more metal probably than most metal artists, because a lot of what metal talks about is it's the idea of how things are horrible, and let's fucking acknowledge how horrible things are. And Elliott Smith does that, but Elliott Smith does that in a way that just fucking kills you. He's just so good. I think it's the song I'm currently listening to in that album is A Fond Farewell, I think, which interestingly enough is the 6th song, and this is the 66th album in my little car portable hard drive or thumb drive or flash drive, whatever. So it's the 6th song on the 66th album, and I thought about that last night. I was like, oh, this is 66. Which song is 6? And anyway, in that song, there's a nice little part where he says, "Isn't life great?" He's sort of, he's doing his verses, and then he sort of has a little aside in the verse. Isn't life great? It's like, oh my God, what a fucking travesty. It's just, are things going to get better? Well, here's the thing. They may get better in the relative world, but if you look around the relative world, you see the people who seem to be enjoying themselves the most, and they're the shittiest people. Or at least you look around and you see the people who are behaving the shittiestly, and they tend to seem like they're kind of carefree. And so carefree doesn't go along. I mean, I don't want to say, because then that gets close to saying, or that seems similar to saying, well, letting go of stuff, you get worse and worse. But it seems like the more carefree people tend to just be the people who are the shittiest. Whether you have them, they're the people saying, we got to kill the babies. Literally, we have to kill the babies. I'm not saying that. They're saying that. They're the people saying that. They're the people saying we need to take more money away from everybody against their will. to fund the operations of one of the most evil groups of people in the world in history. And, I mean, I don't know, maybe they're not, but I imagine that most of the governments today are similarly evil to, if not more evil than, every other fucking evil. It really fucking sucks. It is a really horrible fucking world. And the carefree people, they're the people who don't give a shit about being considerate. Maybe I'm misinterpreting inconsideration for being carefree. I may be misinterpreting inconsideration for being carefree, and I will say a lot of these people probably are they probably are miserable, they're probably unhappy, and it's probably kind of an act or just sort of like a moment out of their normal time for them to not be miserable. But, I mean, being near them is, oh man, it's just really horrific. And I had a Freudian thought, Eckhart Tolle instead of Elliott Smith. Elliott Smith is not always, well, usually he's at least kind of sad. He's not always so, there are some times where he's very life affirming. Elliott Smith explores both the very low reaches of the lows, but then he also does cover, some of the real deep beauty. And it's actually great because, as you might anticipate, someone who covers the lows so honestly really does get the beauty very deeply. And he gets both of them probably more deeply than most or all of the musicians, perhaps even, artists, let alone musicians, just any person who has made art. His stuff is powerful in both respects. And there's a really powerful line near the end of his last album, the last album that I think was released while he was still alive, which would be Figure 8, I think, anyway, off the top of my head, I think it is. But anyway, it is, there's a great line towards the end of Figure 8, right at the end, basically. One of the lines in the last song. I think it's the last song. And it'll probably be worth looking up. I might even title the video this, but something like, how could you ever need someone when you're a world within a world? And you may have heard my voice take a little bit of a turn there. I mean, I listen to that song and I just cry. It's, when you're a world within a world, how could you need anyone? And, because, basically, if it's not just a solipsism situation, then if it seems that, there's the world around you, and then there's you, whoever you are, or whatever extent to which it is you, rather than thoughts and stuff that are also not you. But then, within your sort of little sphere, you have all these seemingly, all these thoughts that are seemingly coming up to you and you alone, or it seems like your own personal screen of the world are on it. And it is, how could you need anyone if you're already surrounded by yourself and you're surrounded by everything else? So you're already in a world, and then you are a world within a world, as he says there. It is the way he puts it, or something like that. When you're a world within a world. Oh God, I hate these fucking assholes. it is, how could you need anybody if you're a world within a world? And so a lot of Elliott Smith's songs are sort of about like the longing for someone, whether in particular or maybe the longing for someone just in general. And he very much sings about like romance, or usually like Lady Gaga might say. And I still like the song, but I'm sure she's Tavistock all the fucking way, or something like that. But as Lady Gaga might say, it's a bad romance. He sings about romance and a bad romance usually. But even in like the beautiful songs, like Say Yes, it's still sort of a state of like hoping that somebody says yes, like hoping that somebody will be in a romance with him, and then maybe when they are, it'll be a bad one, but I just really, everyone, just, how could you fucking, here's a little spin I might take on it. How could you want to live in this world when everything's horrible within horrible? I don't know. Horrible. It's all so fucking bad, and it just, like, I have the sense that if I were to just say, like maybe this is sort of like a final wall, or the final, like, Mara underneath the tree or something, but I have a sense that if I just said, all right, I'm going to let go of the search, like I'm going to do the Gangaji thing, call off the search, whatever, then I think I might just end up like one of those fucking assholes. Now, here's a possible alternative to that, or here's a possible thing that might dispute that, and that might be that those other people are still searching too, but they're not even as far along the search as I am. And when you're far enough along the search to let go of the search, perhaps that is the end of all bad. And maybe that is the case. I don't know if I've mentioned it on this channel yet. I've mentioned it on mattthoughts.com, maybe on Mattthoughts too. I've mentioned it elsewhere, but I had a dream where there was this woman, and it was like someone came into my dream. Like, it was, usually with dream characters, it seems like they're sort of part of the fabric of the dream. Like, they're not really separate from the dream, but it seemed like if there was ever a dream where it seemed like there was someone who was sort of in my dream, but they weren't of my dream, like being in the world but not of it, and as Adyashanti says, but not really being in the world. That's what spiritual people often do, or so-called spiritual people. If there was ever a dream where I had it, and it was if there was ever a dream where there was someone who is not me, or like not part of the dream that was in the dream, it was this one. And there was this woman, and she was she was like I think literally glowing. Like it might have been literally visible, like how different she was from everything else. But like towards the end of the dream, I was like, you're the most enlightened person I ever met. I was in tears in the dream saying that stuff to her, and I got the sense, or maybe she said, or maybe it was a telepathy kind of thing, or, she sent me messages in the mind or whatever, but I got the sense that the way she was that way was by letting go of everything. It could very well be like sort of an OCD thing. It could very well be an attachment thing. Buddhism, for its part, I think Buddhism either is potentially very helpful or just potentially, maybe sort of nudging, maybe trying, or it might sort of have you go back to just being like all the rest of the assholes and not caring, and have it be the bad kind of careless, not the good kind of carefree. But Buddhism talks about attachment, and I think attachment might be the thing. Here's another thing too. I think a lot of the suffering, I would say, it might come from having a sense of wanting, a sense of wanting, that might be Freudian somewhat to start out with, but just period, a sense of wanting, but a sense of feeling like you're not enough. Like James True's, I think it's the first of his 3 blueprints of mind control, thinking that you're broken.
flat left, brake, into right 4, short, and junction, left 3, short, don't cut, rock in, and right 4, a full, keep in, and junction, left 3, 30, junction, dip, 50, junction, right 4, don't cut, rock in, gravel, opens, into junction, 30, right 4, short, into junction, left 3, short, 30. Junction, tarmac, and junction, left 2, widens, 70, keep right. Junction, and left 1, don't cut, keep in, 80. Acute hairpin left, don't cut, sign in, 150. Left 5, keep in, brake, into right 1, don't cut, 40. Right 6, into flat left, brake. Right 4, short, and junction, left 3, short, don't cut, rock in, and right 4, a full, keep in, and junction, left 3, 30, junction, dip, 50, junction, right 4, don't cut, rock in, gravel, opens, into junction, 30, right 4, short, into junction, left 3, short, 30, junction, tarmac, and junction, left 2, widens, 70, keep right. Junction, and left 1, don't cut, keep in, 80.